Ooh, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, James.
Hello, Gladys. Welcome to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame and Wednesday Words. I'm Thundercloud. My mum calls me James. Speaking of my mum, happy birthday, mum. Yes, happy birthday, and lots of love to you today on this special day of yours. All right. I'm going to start with acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we broadcast, the Kamilaroi and the Banbai. Acknowledge the continuing connection to the land of the elders past and present, and acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded. All right. So what's coming up here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame? In only 3 weeks we've got the Australian Poetry Slam Heat, with Gyra Heat here out there on the big stage. Yes, not here in Seahorse Medicine Cafe, no, but out there on the big stage where there'll be lots of people and the judges will be in the audience, chosen from the audience, and there are 2 spots to get to Sydney for the New South Wales State Final, so that's really exciting. All right, so that is on the 15th and 16th of August, the 15th being the workshop and the 16th being the actual Poetry Slam. What else is happening? As of the 1st of August, you'll be able to make submissions to the Australian Bush Poetry Film Festival on filmfreeway.com. And then the 1st of October is the Trout Fest, Poets Breakfast and Kids Poetry Competition. And then finally in November the 12th to the 19th, we've got Poets on the Mountain Festival here at Gyra with the Australian Bush Poets Association New South Wales Bush Poetry Championship, and it's a written and a performance championship, so that will be your chance to get here to Gyra to see the best bush poets in all of Australia, well, New South Wales anyway, which are pretty much Australia. Except if you're in Queensland or Western Australia or Victoria. Pardon me. All right. Anyway, I'm not a Queenslander. No, I'm not one of those. No, I'm not a New South Walesman either. Yeah. Anyway, I was born in Victoria. Yeah. What does that make me? A refugee from Dan Andrews? Yeah. Okay. So that's what's happening. Lots of things, and tonight I will be reading some of the poetry of Grace Perry, who's just here behind me. She's the latest addition to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame Portrait Gallery here, as well as about, what have we got, 8 Grace Perry books there as well. And I'll be reading one of her early books today, and I'll tell you a bit more about her. But I'm going to start off today with one that I wrote 5 days ago, a little bit of linguistic philosophy. We could have done this, we could have done that, but we didn't. And here we are, and that's that. We should have done that, we should have done this, and we still can do what we didn't do, and we won't miss. We would have done that if we had have known. Now we know what to do when the winds are blowing. We must have done that, we must have done this, that is why it's like that, and this is why it's like this. We can do this and we can do that, then this will cause this and that will cause that. We did this and that, we let this and that be, then this and that happened, and they happen predictably. That's that. That's where it's at. All right, so that was a little something that I wrote, but now for the amazing Grace Perry. Now, Grace Perry, her date of birth is a bone of contention because on Wikipedia it says the 3rd of February 1927, but everywhere else it says the 26th of January 1927. But the day that she died is agreed the 3rd of July 1987, when she tragically ended her own life at the age of 60. However, let's get over that and recognise her wonderful poetry. As a 15-year-old, she was published in 1942 by Consolidated Press Limited, and then in 1943 she published another book of poetry, and in 1944 I Am the Songs You Sing. That's this one here. It wasn't until then, much later in life, that she started writing poetry again, and she was, by this stage, she was a doctor, a medical practitioner, and a publisher, and she was a member of Poetry Australia and published Poetry Australia magazine from 1964 to 1967 until she got ousted by Roland Robinson and a few others in a coup, just because they didn't like what she was doing. I don't know exactly, but it's controversial. All right. But anyway, her poetry's her poetry, and that's what we're here to enjoy. All right, I Am the Songs You Sing was published by Consolidated Press here. This is the book. In 1944, they were located at 174 Castlereagh Street, Sydney, back in the day. All right, so her first book was of Grace Perry was called Staring at the Stars, and that was published in September 1942 and reprinted by January 1943. I Live a Life of Dreams was first printed in October 43, reprinted in December 43, and then again in March 1944. And this one, obviously, after March 1944. So the one I'm going to start with today, because I did some of these last night on Chillin' Tuesday, which you can check out. There's a whole Grace Perry special, Chillin' Tuesday, on the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame channel here. This one's Dusty Road of Dreams. Remember, quiet countryside with distant pine-topped hill? A grey stone house in the clearing where the breeze was keen and chill. I see the valley's morning mist where light played hide and seek and painted changing scenes of green and gold the silver creek. All willow fringed meandered merrily, and far away the township dwelt beneath the towering hills where golden day began his glowing course. And distantly those mountains high enclosed my lovely land. I see the roadway running by. The dusty road, the daring road that stole away my dreams and lured me many a lonely mile from songs of silver streams. By iris beds we wandered once beneath the ageless trees, where grasses softly rustled and gaily droned the bees. Where sunlight pierced the treetops, we strolled in golden hours along the dappled driveway beside the fragrant flowers. And when you smiled and waved farewell and vanished from my sight along the dusty roadway that led you into night, I stood where we had parted and smiling watched you go. The treetops sighed, the grass replied, and bushbirds sang so low. The dappled road seemed strangely odd. I shook with nameless fears as, smiling still, I watched you through a mist of jewelled tears.
Very good.
Yeah. So the next one here is called Seascape. I walked with you along the shore of an ocean of dreams that evermore will be more than dreams to me. Then daylight paled upon the sea, soft shadows fell, and strangely we seemed one with the deep, dark sky. Now I walk alone on a dismal shore, where glittering tears of the surf and the roar recall those dreams to me. All right, the next one we've got is called Down to the Sea at Sunset by Grace Perry. Come down to the sea at sunset, when the waves are foaming gold. Come down to me at sunset, before the day grows cold. I'll wait on the shore at sunset, away from the lingering few. Alone on the sand at sunset, I'll ask the ocean for you. Nice little ones, aren't they? Yeah. Well, I've only got two more, and then you're up.
Now, right, James.
All right.
I'll have to do two.
Okay. Riverside scene. A man with the smile of a god on his lips, and a maid with the laugh of a child, loitered along where the rivulet slips, away in a whirlpool wild. There the morning light lay at the dancing of day, where mosses and orchids grow and butterflies play by the fern-fringed way, while the river murmurs below. They lingered along where the sun-red sips spray from the whirlpool wild, a man with the wine of love on his lips, and a maid with the mouth of a child. Yeah, nice, that one. All right, here we go. The last one I've got for you. Beyond the Gates of Sunset by Grace Perry. Beyond the gates of sunset lies a still uncharted sea, and from the happy playland there young voices call to me. I sometimes lie and listen, for I have heard and seen the merry children's laughter in this land of might have been. They softly smile while whispering their seldom spoken names, but I have seen them dance with joy and join their childish games. And nightly now I watch their ship of silver richly pearled, a-floating through the quiet sky around the wondering world. And sometimes I have envied them their lilting life serene, these laughing little children in the land of might have been. Yeah. So look, I'm going to do the last one.
Do one more, James.
One more.
Fine. Yeah,
It's
keep going.
the last one of the book here. It's called Youth and Age.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The unhappy year was ending. The ghost of faded spring arose from scattered ashes, forlorn and jaded thing, and whispered farewell blessings to the slowly moving streams, while melting moon caressed the world with all embracing beams. Along the shadowed pathway, then in dreamy state we strolled, for you were young and I was young, though all the world was old. We found the night young sleeping in a valley filled with fern, where forest flowers on slender stems had lifted heads to earn the benediction of silvered sky. The distant sea against relentless rocks complained, but all unheeding we passed slowly by the ageless gums with trunks so smooth and cold, for you were young and I was young, though all the world was old. I really like that one. Yeah.
There's a last, James.
Yeah. Particularly the last line, for you were young and I were young, though all the world was old. I think we're all young, aren't we?
We are, James. We
Yeah.
don't have.
Yeah, and the world is old. All right. So this is one I wrote last week, 6 days ago. This was on the 20th of July.
All right.
Well, the 20th of July, 1969, millions of people gathered around their televisions to watch two United States astronauts do something that no one has ever done before. They walked on the moon. Allegedly. Yeah. So, this was, here we go. A real quick one here.
No, don't.
Zoom across the sky, flying to the moon. Someone had to try flying to the moon. That's all.
Come on.
Short one.
Yeah, that was short. and
Oh yeah, I know. Really, really short.
sweet.
That one,
Okay.
yeah. All right. Well, look. I'll do this one.
Go ahead,
I got one more, and then you're coming up. Okay.
Yes,
You're next. All right.
with the carry on.
This one's about a donkey, and his name is Jack. Burdened was the donkey as he left the city with a pack on his back for a life left shitty, and he turned to his friends, and the last thing he said was, "I'm searching for a better day. City life is dead." He walked 40 days till he came to a mountain, maybe 43, as he wasn't really counting. Sat down by the creek in a valley full of grass and sang a song that started, "I'm a lucky ass. I'm a lucky ass, there's so much grass. I lived in the city, but those days passed. The creek is flowing fast, the water in my glass, there's lush green grass, and I'm a lucky ass." The donkey unhitched his burdensome pack. It's here that I mention that his name was Jack. Jack took out his tools and built a fence, reasoning that it was for wolf defence. Next he built a shed to sleep in at night, installed hot running water and electric light. In a valley far away lived a donkey with class. He frolicked in the grass and his name was Jack Ass. He sang, "I'm a lucky ass, there's so much grass. I lived in the city, but those days past. The creek is flowing fast, there's water in my glass. A lucky ass with grass, my name's Jack Ass."
Jones.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you very much. And Gladys,
Well done. I'll do one here.
welcome. I'm going to get my tea and have a cup of tea, cup of Irish tea here. Yum. Get it in here.
That bit's warm.
All right. Here is Gladys Wilson.
I'll read them. Now I'm going to, before I go over, I spread it on the gum tree last night, and I got pretty confident that I can do it without looking at the book.
Okay.
I'm going to have a shot. Now I might not get right through, so just don't quote me on it.
Okay.
I am a precious old gum tree. I've stood here for more than 100 years or so, and faced all kinds of weather, with wind, rain and snow. I once felt quite at home on this land where I still dwell. But please take a moment of your time. My sad story I will tell. Now, there, that one, James. I had that last night and tonight. Yeah.
It's the one where his son
I will get one for bread. I'll just think. Well, I'll just think. Have think. I think it's you may think of me as no longer useful, and my days are nearly done. But I've sheltered you many times from the blazing sun. I give refuge to the weary stock as they rest beneath me every night, and flocks of birds now nestle on my branches after their morning flight. But I beg of you, my good friend, please spare me a little thought as you glance at my ragged old body, where many battles have been fought. Of course, I'm not what I used to be, but surely I can trust that you will not cut me down and turn me into sawdust. As my roots all start to tremble, with weeping branches hanging low, and still I dread to think of that terrible day when I may have to go. Now looking to my future, whatever that may be, but I always will remain a precious old gum tree. I've just got the last bit, but I thought of it last night. But anyway,
hey, well done.
I've just
Well, that's always the trick is to do that.
well I've got that down there.
Well, we know you're not going to get any dementia, aren't we?
Now what do? Oh yes, here we are, this is right, yes, it's the Stand Alone in the Moonlight with my leaves all silvery grey, that's the next thing. Now, this is Swagman's journey, so anyhow, yeah. This is the story about Swagman and their long journey, so often takes us back to those days when we remembered them out on the winding track. Now, time, of course, has quickly passed by, and these living legends are all growing old, while treasured memories will forever remain with us as the pages of history unfold. But our man of mystery, carrying his swag, who travels all alone on this forgotten pathway, a place he still calls home, while the gravel moves beneath his feet and road signs wave farewell, life out in this great unknown only a swagman can tell. As the setting sun fades out of sight behind those rugged hills, this weary traveller rests beside his glowing campfire in the land he loves best. Now away from all the hustle and bustle, where the swagman can surely live out his dreams, where the swag rolled out beneath bright stars and the moonlight with its silvery beams. Just to take a step back in time reminds us of a stranger, someone you may not know, who travelled around this region many years ago. But even though they seem to be gone, their footprints are left on our path, as we solemnly stand and read the verse that's written on their epitaph. But like most of us, our thoughts of them are never far away. So are these shadows from our past finding here to stay? Yes, James, I think that, yes, I said, yes, I said something. I might just start over again and see how I go. Yeah. I am a precious old gum tree. I've stood here for more than 100 years or so, and faced all kinds of weather with wind, rain and snow. But I once felt quite at home on this land where I still dwell. But please take a moment of your time, my sad story I will tell. As you know, many trees were all around me once, but sadly they are gone. Their stumps still surround me, where once I proudly stood upon, once they all proudly stood upon. As I stand alone in the moonlight, with my leaves all silvery glow, and dream of the days when I was a young gum tree, all those years ago. Back then I stood so proud and tall, and was a treasure to behold, but the sound of chainsaws now just makes my sap run cold. You may think of me as no longer useful, and my days are nearly done, but I've sheltered you many times from the blazing sun. I give refuge to the weary stock as they rest beneath me every night, and flocks of birds now nestle on my branches after their morning flight. I've got there, haven't I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, I'm not what I used to be. Surely I can trust that you will not cut me down and turn me into sawdust. As my roots all start to tremble with weeping branches hanging low, and still I dread to think that terrible day when I may have to go. As I wake up each morning and thankfully take another breath, I pray that you will leave me here just to die a natural death. Now looking to my future, whatever that may be, but I always will remain a precious old gum tree. I haven't done too bad.
You've done wonderful.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, look, I can tell, I know why you've done wonderful, because in like 3 years you've written a whole heap of poems, but not only that, you're known now as the poet of Gaia.
I've got another one. I've got a bit put down on the other one, and it's on an outback stockman.
Yeah.
And it's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but James, I thank you a million, because you have absolutely, you've been a wonderful mentor. Like, I can't say anything else, because you have.
Thank you.
And you sort of guarded me, and we've been good friends since the day you arrived here. And I think that you have, you've given me the confidence just to go on and write. And I think I've got a lot to be thankful that I have actually come under your leadership.
Thank you very much.
Because it has been because I would not have, James, it would not have happened without you, because I would have wrote a couple and that would have been shot.
Yeah.
But no, I think you have done very well, and I'm very happy, James.
Well,
We'll shake hands on that, James, because you have done very well. And I enjoy your stuff, and I enjoy coming in and listening to you, because you have some, you have been a wonderful, like if I said, well, no, learn. But I've learned a lot that I would not have known and I would not have done.
Oh,
So I have
absolutely.
learned a lot through
We all
here.
do.
So
Thank
I
you.
hope that these poetry things coming up, that people can sort of go there and have a shot and see
Yeah.
what they can do. Because
Absolutely.
it is amazing.
It is. It's
And I look
important.
forward to them. I
Oh,
think
so
it should
do
be,
I.
yeah, it should be very good.
Yeah, well, we're going to have some of the best bush poets in Australia here. We'll have some great slam poets, and now the poetry library out here.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's you think that you can't do something, but I think if you've got a person, a good person that's standing there that has done it and has opened this thing, and I think then you've got the guide that like to come through and you guide through those things, and I think you can really do it because I put a bit of stuff together since you have come here. And I think so. Yeah, so it's been wonderful, and I think that I just think with this poetry thing will be good, and I think a lot of people can have a shot. And practice whatever they can do.
So thank you, Gladys, for reminding me of that, because that's what I'd like to say to the people out there. It's about coming here and the opportunity for you to be supported and in your writing, your performance journey.
The thing is with it, if we don't have a shot at something, we don't know. But we put those things together, and if we have a shot at it and we fail, that doesn't mean that we can't get up and do it again, because if you try and you try again, and you can get there. And yes, I think so. I read one today, The Roadmap of Life, down at What's in the Links. And I done that without the book. I didn't have the book on me.
Okay, congratulations.
So but I think you can gain the confidence. But I think this thing coming up, people come in and have a shot, and that's all you can do.
That's right. No, it's exciting. It is. It's great. I'm glad. Yeah. All right. Well, here's one I've got. This one I've written some haiku, and I've also got this one which I think is one of my better poems for a really, really long time. But I would probably do that last, because I want to do Socrates' defense. Now, Socrates was a Greek philosopher who went around questioning everyone. He wanted to find a good person. And anyway, he got accused of impiety, and he ended up being put to death. Anyway, he has a very great, a very important defense speech that he put, that is there, and you can read that in English. It's been translated from the Greek. Anyway, I've condensed it to a sonnet, which was not an easy task to take the main ideas and put them into sonnet form, and then here goes. Socrates' defense condensed into a sonnet. Standing here accused of impiety, corrupting youth, but only ever sought to see the truth through questioning a variety of so-called wise men, asking them to justify my crime of questioning those dear beliefs, and so they say that I am a danger. But I only act in service, not to cause grief. I'd prefer to die in truth than lie to the stranger. Death holds no grip of fear. What is death but the next home for the soul? Mistakes I've made, but I've always tried to live my best. To serve Athens only ever was my goal. I ask you now in this plea and final words, let me live and let my words be heard.
Oh, John,
That's Socrates' defense condensed into a sonnet. All right. Now, the next one is about... which one will I do? Okay, this one's about the... okay. It's based on a meme featuring Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum and saying, educate yourself, build back better as a global socialist slogan, which basically means you have to tear everything down and rebuild it how he thinks. Anyway, one National Socialist killed 6 million Jews. One communist killed 9 million Russians too. Another communist killed 40 to 80 million Chinese. Klaus and the World Economic Forum are trying to emulate these. You will own nothing and you will be happy, with a social credit system to control the crappy who criticise the government and critical theory. Do you really trust the government? My rhetorical query. Silencing on social media any critique of the system. What next? Prison for anyone who criticises or disses them? Assange. NATO, Democrats, neocons killing in Ukraine. The 1984 agenda of permanent war is quite insane. While cancelling anyone who speaks the truth about the harm, 2023 is both 1984 and Animal Farm. Soros sponsors division and also race hate. Puppet show agenda of the oligarchic deep state, while Bill Gates buys up the arable farmland to sell fake meat and genocidal jabs is the plan. That's
Cool.
And I've got the love haiku. I've got a bunch of love haiku for you. First, a set of love haiku. And a haiku, for anyone who doesn't know, is a 3-line poem. Each line, the first line has 5 syllables, the second line has 7 syllables, and the last line has 5 syllables. 1. A haiku for you, eternal beauty that lasts, is that of the heart. 2. Looking in your eyes is how I show my love. Some things are best felt. Our souls are the souls of the entire universe, and love is our name. Whispers in ears, open the door of your heart. Hatred disappears. Whispers in ears, open the door of your heart. Love swiftly appears. And the last one. Hearts that have broken transmute the pain into love, are rebuilt golden. So that's the, and then I've got 3 more here. Synchronous hearts beat, waves crash and trees bend in breeze, united as one. Next one. Love's journey excites, a roller coaster of thrills, of peaks, valleys, highs. And the last one. Love in the good times, forgive those who make you mad. For learning, be glad. And a set of haiku. And the final one of the night that I'm going to do is Wind Scattered Dance. And this was based on it was actually a painting that I did first, which is out there. And I did the painting, and then and the painting's called Wind Scattered. I don't even know if I can show you it, if I could have, no, it's because it's out there. So, pardon me, Wind Scattered Dance. Behold the wild wind and force it yields, across mountains, deserts, its ballet revealed, lifting dust from crusty ground, gusts of swirling ascent unbound, with gentle breeze or whirling gale, scattering dust over forest and dale, as Rumi's mystic Sufian trance, weaving a story through nature's expanse. Dancing eddies whisper in breeze, a classical ballet it appeases. Lights and dust, leaves and dust take artful flight, animated canvas of delight. Carried far away beyond our sight to far-flung journeys, dust take flight. With just one gust, dust will embark, leaving in its wake a mark. Hazel days, a subtle shroud in the dry, dusty mist endowed. Wind is life's breath, pure and cruel, fans the flames, is fire's fuel. Farmers toil and wind test their will, fields of cross embrace winds thrill. Plains wind-swept of green and gold will rise and thrive, resilient and bold. A paradox blows, reveals the course and heart of this ever-flowing force. With artistic flair, a kiss, a touch, shaping the world it loves so much. Crescent hills of sand and dune, landscapes evolve with them. Monsoon wind, the sculpture love's touch applied, gems of nature with beauty implied. The seeds dispersed when winds roar, penetrate the soul to explore. United all of us are akin to, and next of kin to dust scattered by wind. Never fear wind's captivating dance, trance-like, it's not happenstance. Here it is. As in the wind's dance, a million souls move, as its design it seeks to prove. As the wind scatters the souls of you, born again it's as a spirit new, and far-flung lands your essence sent on gusts of wind with love's ascent. Floating upon wind's enchanting grace, its flow and rhythmic warm embrace through whirling dance, you'll find your art. So let the blowing wind restore your heart.
James, that's excellent.
Thank you very much, Gladys. That's very, very happy with that one myself.
Yeah, no, I would be too.
It's nice, long, and very eloquent, I thought, for myself. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
No, James, it was
It's
very good.
just the two of us, but we
Yeah.
still have had fun, and we
Yeah,
got
it's
some
always fit, and
good thing
no,
there.
it's
Yeah.
good.
So, thank you very much out there for joining us for Wednesday Words on this 26th of July, 2023. I'm Thundercloud, that was Gladys, and we'll see you next week with some more poets, because they'll be back. I know Sky will be here, and I reckon Ashley will be as well. Yeah, I'll see you later.